Casual here. Welcome to my new series in which I will be reviewing games available on Xbox Game Pass. While games on this platform are free, I know that your time is not. So it is important to you to know which games are worth your time and which are not. I will wait for the games from A to Z, picking one from each letter for the first run through. With the future of Anthem being decided by EA currently, I thought that this would be the perfect time to try out this game and let you know my thoughts on whether it should face chopping block or receive a presidential pardon. Let me know which games you would be interested in me reviewing next from the B's, C's and D's by leaving a comment below. Let's get into the action. Anthem's release back in February 2019 was not a great one, the game suffering from long loading times, bugs causing missions to repeatedly crash, a weak and confusing storyline and a lack of content at the endgame. The good news is that the stability of the game was good. I only encountered one mission-ending crash in my leveling experience. The loading times as well were noticeable but did not kill the flow of the game, so clearly some work has occurred since launch in this area. That is not to say that there aren't any bugs. There are, and they are most apparent in the combat sections, when enemies fail to disappear, or continue animations long after they have shuffled off this mortal coil. But these are fairly trivial in the scheme of things. It is clear that a number of improvements have been delivered over the life of the game. You can now access the Forge and start missions at any point in the game. Your equipment screen now has a gear score, and highlighting new weapons, armour or components shows you the impact on this score if you were to swap them out. In a nutshell, the core menu structure of the game is there. A few things really struck me when I started playing this game. Flying around in the Javelin exosuits in the gorgeous world that Bioware have created is a lot of fun. The world is spectacular, and there were times that I ignored what I was meant to be doing just to go and explore. There are plenty of things to find in the world as well, albeit they do feel somewhat superficial, being there to give you something to find, rather than being of import in the game. On top of the gorgeous visuals, the movement of the Javelin was great. I played the Colossus, the tank of the game. The animation, sound and vibrations were spot on, the weight of the exosuit coming through in its every movement. It was incredibly satisfying performing a melee slam from mid-air above enemies, dropping like a stone to crash into them with a satisfying slam. Exhilarating stuff.
I hear you.
Combat is a lot of fun as well, at low levels at least. I felt almost superhuman in my Colossus exosuit, crashing into enemies, going toe to toe, with my autocannon launcher and ordnance allowing me to scythe through them. My ultimate felt like a nuclear bomb, destroying even the largest enemies. Flying above enemies does allow you to bypass combat in some missions, but the temptation to jump into the action was strong indeed. Anthem has opted for a third-person view for the sections you are in your exosuit, while oddly all of your time outside of the suit you are in first person. While this view does show off the suit very well, it also highlights one of the challenges with the combat. In a Division's third-person view, it always felt that you were still shooting the gun even when looking from that view. With Anthem, I felt that I was pointing a cursor rather than shooting a weapon, and as a result all the weapons felt the same, with slightly different shooting patterns. Overall though, the movement, combat and the world are undeniable high points of this game. So now to visit the lows. The story is a bit of a jumbled mess for the first half, with plot twists that are very predictable and telegraphed, which is a shame as the cast of characters, while annoying, are very well animated and voice acted. Sadly, dialogue choices with this ensemble are meaningless, with all conversations ending up at the same place, making it a speed run to get through them. The dialogue as well is cringeworthy at times, particularly with some of the peripheral characters you can talk to. Personally, I felt that the story did improve, or at least become simpler and clearer, as the game progressed, and there were a few missions that really held up. Triple Threat in particular was a very fun mission. As we've seen in other live service games, delivering a solo storyline in a multiplayer game is not easy, so I wouldn't knock Anthem too much for this. Conversations with NPCs are necessary to kick off the highly repetitive missions that take you through the story arc. The missions are all composed of flight to point A, search for B, or defend C, or both, while killing lots of Ds. Even the strongholds, the equivalent of strikes in Destiny, follow the exact same pattern, which is a great shame as the variety of enemies in the game is impressive, matching Destiny 2's complement of foes with its many years head start. All of the characters in the game live in Fort Tarsis. There has been a lot of criticism of this part of the game when it first launched, which really stemmed from the hype around it. In trailers, Fort Tarsis looked like a bustling living city, whereas in reality it is like most game hubs, with NPCs that obediently wait in their assigned spaces for you to interact with them. It's pretty much identical to the Tower in Destiny or the White House in Division 2. It's certainly no worse than those game hubs though. At about level 12 you hit a story arc break. Essentially you have to complete a number of challenges, opening a number of chests, killing a number of enemies, that sort of thing, before you can progress the story. This feels like it was put in to artificially extend the campaign, which is just downright lazy. With the rushed development of the game now known, this should probably not come as a surprise, but it is disappointing. Missions reward you with experience and loot. Loot is pretty lackluster, being of the incremental stat type. As the loot improves, it provides a boost to a certain stat or attribute. The better the gear, the better the boost. It would have been nice to see gear that changed the way you play or allowed certain playstyles to be developed, but again, I guess development times just didn't allow for that. I finished the story at level 19. With the max level being level 30, that leaves a lot of grinding still to be done. Completing the game does open up 2 strongholds, and there are repeatable missions that can be done, but I get the criticism around endgame content. There is very little to do, and while I expect I will try and get to max level just in case Anthem 2.0 does come out, I'm not particularly looking forward to it. There are 2 questions I need to answer here. Firstly, do I think that you should play Anthem as a free game on Xbox Game Pass? Well, the answer to that one is a resounding yes. While it does have many shortcomings currently, the awesome graphics, sound and the world, the excellent action in the form of the exosuit flying and combat are all worth checking out, and I know that you'll have a blast doing so. The second question is whether I think that EA should continue to invest in order to make this into a viable longer-term live service game. I mean, at this stage it would be impossible to save the storyline, but I don't think that is a big issue. As we all know, Destiny's storyline was a similar mess, but the Taken King turned that game around. The core mechanics of the game are in good state, particularly the exosuit's movement, flying and combat. Loot does need to be improved, as does the repetitive nature of the missions, but let's be honest, every live service game has ups and downs with this. The big thing that this game needs to make it viable though is content, and with a world as rich and intriguing and beautiful as this one, you have to feel that this could be delivered. In my view, this game is a diamond in the rough, one that was seriously overhyped to its detriment, but with the right refinement could still become a viable proposition. So come on EA, splash the cash, and let's get Anthem 2.0 out there. Thanks for taking the time to watch my video. I'm early on in my journey to build a successful gaming channel, and every view helps, particularly yours. If you like this content, then please do check out my game reviews playlist for more videos just like this one, and hit the like button. Content on my channel focuses on first impressions, game reviews and game guides, so do subscribe to be notified about more content that I release on a regular basis. Until next time, Casual out.